I often struggle with this desire to do, be, show as perfect, and everything I touch to come out exactly as I envisioned. But it doesn't always come out that way. And it's frustrating because even before I start the actual work on the project process, I stall in my head because I realize that whether with my skill or resources, it will never come out exactly as grand as I envision it the first time. And never is a strong word. So let me correct myself there. I'd say the uncertainty is something that scares me. It's a fear that I will prove to myself that I'm not as good as I thought I was. And it's a protection of my pride. It's a protection of myself that has kept me from pursuing opportunity for so much of my life that I can't let that do that anymore. Otherwise, I will stay exactly where I am, learning very little to nothing, and never really go on these adventures, these grand adventures and opportunities that I have in my head. I see so much grand adventure in front of me, but because I want to preserve myself and preserve my self image and ego, I don't explore those um, pathways that are very clearly set out in front of me. And I realize that there's a lot of things wrong with what that approach does because it limits me. It puts a ceiling on what I can do. And it also doesn't let me explore what I don't know if I can do or not. Maybe there's a better way to explain that, and I'll try again. Uh, Limiting my ability before I start never lets me find out where my capacity lies. That also wasn't that clear, but it's okay. I guess I'll keep going here. When it comes to perfection, it stops you from pursuing opportunity. And it's stopped me so often that even with things in my regular life, it turns me into this cyclical, routine person that doesn't really grow the way that I know I can grow. Um, I don't struggle the way that I know I could struggle. I avoid true challenges and live in a state of comfort, latent, lazy, baseline struggle that isn't really to the extent that I could push myself. And when I live in that state, it becomes almost droning. It becomes almost meaningless. It becomes draining because I know I could do more and I'm not. And there's something frustrating to that because you're not living up to the potential that you know you have within you. And it has so much to do with a level of like avoidance, right? It's an unwillingness to put yourself out there. And especially with something like this, right? Because I'm exploring my ability to speak, one, to a camera, but two, on a topic in depth that I haven't really explored before. And it's uncomfortable if I stop and it's not perfect the first way through. Um, I I it would be easy for me to turn off the camera, right? And restart and never show this to the world. But there's something unfortunate to deleting and hiding and 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 not showing the work to get to where you want to go. Obviously it becomes like if everything I put out is polished and perfect, there becomes a level of disconnectedness to the human experience and the human adventure and the growth journey that I want to share. It shows everything as, easy and perfect the first time through, but it's not, and it never has been. I just hide those parts habitually because I don't want to show myself as a weak, vulnerable, learning individual who's developing and working on it over time. And I realize that's an illusion I've put myself into for so long that it's taken the wind out of my sails. Because, or it has rather, in the past. And it's not who I am today. Today, praise God, I am someone who is willing to try. I'm willing to struggle. I'm willing to put myself out there because I realize that the return, while it may be uncomfortable, is a level of growth and development that will undoubtedly help me become the person that I've always wanted to be. And it comes with an unavoidable level of discomfort, unavoidable level of humbling, unavoidable level of experience, imperfect learning, trial, and error that I have to face firsthand before any growth comes to pass. And for as long as I avoid that, I avoid the growth that comes with it. And that is no longer who I am because my identity is somebody who is willing to learn. My identity is someone who is willing to try and fail and try again. My identity is someone who is okay to be the dumbest person in the room with the most capacity to learn. Because if I don't have that, I won't go anywhere. And I will stay exactly where I am, in that corner, uncomfortable, always anxious, always afraid, never learning, never growing, but arrogant enough to think that he knows what he's doing. And burning all the energy, doing a lot of nothing while feeling he's making a ton of progress. That's not who I am. I'm willing to show up and acknowledge the fact that that over there is not my standard. My standard is testing it. My standard is doing it and implementing and learning and developing it, refining the process over time because I put in the work to have a baseline to build upon, a foundation to work off of. Because if I never start, I'll never know where I can go. My name is Prayan. I will see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful day. I don't know what to call this. I still don't know. I filmed a trial episode right before I did this one. I'm not sure which one I'll do first, but I actually am looking forward to this journey. And I can't wait to bring more people on besides just myself because I have so much to learn. And I can't wait to bring on people who are wiser than me, who have different experiences than me, who look at the world a different way than I do. And by interacting with them, by asking them questions, by poking their brain and bashing ideas against each other, and ideally not in a conflicting way, but meshing it into a nice civil conversation, there can come a level of understanding that is more holistic, a perspective that is more full and in-depth and fleshed out, that can see the world for what it really is. And I realize I, by myself, cannot do that. But by sharing my own thoughts, sharing my own opinions, I'm speaking to someone who's willing to listen, who's coming from a different place than me. And ideally, by sharing these experiences, by sharing these thoughts that I have, I'm reaching somebody else who might not have explored those thoughts for themselves, or maybe has a different perspective. And you and I can have a conversation in a way that I, by myself, in my room, without this camera, without posting this, without you listening, would never have been able to do. So I thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See you next week, every Saturday at 9:57 a.m. Have a great day.